you testified a little bit to the content of those posts yesterday.
I did.
But what I've shown you in those exhibits, is that fair to say those are the actual posts that, according to the forensic analysis report, that Ross would have clicked on?
Yes, sir. It does appear so.
Okay, I'll go ahead and move 78, 79, and 80.
No objection.
Admitted.
And again, you testified about this a little bit yesterday, and
Yes, sir.
we've been through this, but the child-free posts that were located, Defendant's Exhibit 78, it says dating is nearly impossible is sort of the heading. And do you recall that it basically is a post from a 23-year-old blind guy in Colorado that is having difficulty dating?
Yes.
All right. The post that's admitted now is Defense Exhibit 79. It says bingoed by a convicted felon, and you would agree it's essentially a post about a lady who has a family member who gets out of prison, and then that family member wants the young girl to have a baby for her, essentially.
Yes, and she doesn't want to have any kids.
All right, and then number 80 says IUD ultrasound on Facebook equals a bunch of pissed off people. And apparently this girl thought it would be funny to post on Facebook an image of her IUD, and people thought she was pregnant.
Yes.
Okay. And so those were the posts that according to the forensic analysis report, these are the ones that were clicked by Ross.
Yes, on that computer.
Okay. All right, and as it turns out, this child-free subreddit, it was discovered by Alex Hall, Ross's friend.
Yes.
And Alex is the one who directed Ross to this site.
That's correct.
And we know that from those Google chats between Ross and Alex and Winston and Jason Abdon.
Yes, sir.
And have you had a chance to look at the timing of when Ross actually went to that subreddit?
Yes.
It was immediately after Alex sent him the link, so to speak, for child-free subreddit.
Yes, sir.
And of course, you now know that Ross's immediate response was the word grossness.
Correct.
When did you know this?
Back when the Google chats, we had time to go through with it. I don't remember exactly when those came in.
Did you know about this in 2016, that Ross's friend had put him onto this, and that Ross's response was grossness?
But he went to two of the ones after he said grossness. He went back and clicked on something else. And it's just evidence. He went to a website called Child4, went to the Reddit Child3.
And this is the same child-free that in July 2014 testified was evidence of motive.
Yes.
When did you know that Alex Hall was the one that discovered that child-free subreddit and sent the link to Ross?
I don't know, sir. I don't have a date for you.
Was it this year, 2016?
Once again, I don't know, sir.
Was it during this very trial?
I don't have a date for you.
You can't tell me if it was during this very trial that
It
you
wasn't
found
during
it?
this very trial. It was brought up before. No.
Brought up by whom? Who knew about this?
I don't recall.
Have you ever made a report about it?
No.
It was something you knew.
Yes.
You testified that this was evidence of motive in a previous hearing,
I did.
and you discovered that's not right, and you made no report.
He went to the Reddit, child free. We've been through this. He went to the Reddit that advocated child free.
You gonna stand on that then? He went to it.
Yes, I stand on it.
You previously made a report about drive times from the Chick-fil-A to the Treehouse. And I believe you testified to those yesterday.
I did.
And we saw that you and Detective Murphy had a GoPro hooked to the car, and you drove that route again 4 more times. Is that correct?
That's correct. 4 or 5.
Okay. And you would agree that when y'all redid that with the GoPro, you redrove those routes, certainly 3 of those times were at least a minute and a half longer than when you had originally driven those routes.
Correct.
And in fairness, there could be lots of reasons for that, right?
Correct.
Could be more traffic, could be more cars waiting at the U-turn, it could be you catch the light or you don't catch the light. There could be lots of factors.
There are lots of factors. Starting point.
But what I want to know is that I didn't hear yesterday was exactly what day did you drive the route to do the GoPro, and what time of day did you do it?
GoPro video was completed on 3/9/2016.
I heard morning, but I didn't hear what time.
I believe it was around 10 o'clock. I'd have to look at the actual raw video and see if the timestamp was on there.
But you don't have an actual time.
There is an actual time, but it's probably on the raw video of the GoPro. I don't have it with me.
You didn't ask Ross if he had the radio on during the morning drive, did you?
Actually, yes.
You did.
He said it was on
Do you remember what he said he was listening to?
104.7, I believe. I'd have to look again, but
104.7.
you know what page it is?
I don't. I had a question mark back because I couldn't remember.
Yes, sir. There was a point when we were asking if there was any distractions. I have to go through the full
It's not. If your recollection is that he said he had it on
I think it's
104.7.
105. Oh,
You testified yesterday that
so the fish.
there was no. You had no evidence or any indication that Ross had taken Cooper to Chick-fil-A in the month of June.
I believe so. I don't recall, to be honest with you. I don't believe you did.
Okay. You can't recall if that's what was
We
taken.
had- We had 3 receipts. I believe all 3 receipts were after he dropped Cooper off. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong.
to the best of your recollection, did you testify yesterday that Ross had not taken Cooper to Chick-fil-A in the month of June?
The evidence that we had.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been, we went over this yesterday with Mr. Bourne, but I'm going to show it to you again. This is Defendant's Exhibit 18. These are 3 receipts from the Chick-fil-A. It's the same Chick-fil-A we're talking about, right?
Let's see. Findings FSU, findings FSU, I believe so.
All right. And those receipts give the time of the transaction, correct?
They do.
And you went back and you looked at, you compared the times from those transactions to the time that Ross dropped off Cooper at Little Aprons on those days, correct?
Correct.
And 2 of those days, Ross had dropped off Cooper at Little Aprons before he went to Chick-fil-A.
Correct.
And on the 3rd occasion, you found that Ross apparently did not take Cooper to Little Aprons on that day.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, did you have any other information that Ross had taken Cooper to Chick-fil-A in the month of June?
None that I can recall, sir.
Anytime's fine with me, Judge. You break now, that's fine.
I know, but I don't want to break into the middle of something if you're not quite finished.
If I could go over one more piece of evidence, that'd probably be, thank you. I'll make it quick.
No, I don't want to. All is good.
Okay. We talked about also having the text messaging between Ross and Leanna, correct?
Correct.
And you've had a chance to go through those.
Correct.
All right. All right, Detective, I'm going to hand you what I've now marked as Defendant's Exhibit 79. Make sure I know what I'm looking at for you. Okay. And ask if you recognize that text chat between Ross and Leanna.
There appears to be a text message between the two from the.
All right, I want to call your attention to March the 14th of 2014.
Yes, sir.
And do you see in there Ross referencing?
Judge, just I think just formally, I think he needs to go ahead and tender it. I'm not going to have an objection that this is already in. I just before he testifies to it, I think he needs to do that.
It should be 81.
80, it should be 81. I guess I should have stopped while I was ahead.
There needs to be a lawyer with behavior. I've heard.
81.
Thank you.
81 is the text chat between Ross and Leanna. And encompassed in there is March 14 of 2014.
Yes, sir.
I move 81.
No objection, Judge.
And
Admitted.
thank you. What does Ross say to Leanna about taking Cooper to Chick-fil-A?
Nothing.
What does he say about Daddy-son breakfast?
Yep, he just said Daddy Son breakfast we haven't in like 2 months.
All right. So March the 14th, he texted his wife that morning and indicated that apparently they were going to do Daddy-son breakfast. We haven't in like 2 months.
Correct.
Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Meaning if he's at all accurate, there was a 2-month span during from January 14th to March 14th where they didn't go to Chick-fil-A together at all.
Correct.
Okay. Now's a fine time to
Open to that? Very good, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as you have passed, they can leave the jury room. Keep an open mind, don't discuss this matter with each other, with others. Don't let anyone speak with you about the case. No independent searching, researching, looking, lurking, November.